Hey everybody, I'm Bulldog. I'm back with my second ever book review. This time I'm going to be reviewing Queen's Shadow, a book by E.K. Johnston, who also wrote Ahsoka, which I absolutely love that book. So I was excited to read another book by her, and this one was very different though. And so basically this is a book about Padme Amidala. She's without a doubt the main character. It takes place after episode 1. As she transitions from being queen of Naboo to being a senator. And we get to see that that's not always the easiest transition for her. But even though she's the main character and we do learn a lot about her, the real stars of this book is actually her handmaidens. So they play an integral role, and we really get to learn a lot more about them as characters. So they appear in the movies and in episode 1, episode 2, and while they play some key roles, they're kind of characters that are an afterthought for a lot of people, myself included. I can't say that I really truly cared about them and their backstories or anything like that. That completely changes with this. So this book does a tremendous job of expanding on a lot of these characters, and we really get to learn more about them. I actually want to go back and watch episode 1, watch some of the Clone Wars, because I care about these characters more, and I want to view it in a different light. And I mentioned the Clone Wars, so we've got our handmaidens. We touch on characters like Clovis. I believe he was in the Clone Wars, played in a few episodes. It's been so long since I've seen the Clone Wars that my memory of it might be a little rusty. But Bonteri was in a few of the Clone Wars. We get to see her relationship with Padme there. We get to see how Padme learns about and begins to work with Bail Organa, for example, Mon Mothma, some of those big time characters in the movies and other books. And we really get to see how that relationship develops. So this is a great book in terms of filling in some of those gaps between the movies, expanding on our knowledge on some of these characters, and really making us care about these characters and be able to relate to them even more than we have in the past. So and Disney's done a great job with some of these recent books of taking some of the characters that maybe in the case of the Handmaidens, we know almost nothing about, or some of the characters that there are gaps in their timeline, and really expanding on this. And for me, it makes me enjoy a lot of these movies more, knowing some of these backstories and having more information about the characters. And I can go back and watch these movies or TV shows or whatever they are in kind of a different light and have a different perspective on things, and it makes things so much more enjoyable. So the author does a tremendous job of developing these characters. That is definitely the biggest plus from this book. The biggest minus, to kind of be blunt, is it wasn't that exciting. It starts out a little slow, starts to build up. I kind of started to get into it a little bit, and then it kind of ended abruptly. It was like, okay, things are starting to pick up. I like where things are going. I'm starting to get into these characters, and then, oh, that's it? That's the ending? And we do kind of, I don't want to give it away, but we do kind of end on a cliffhanger. And so I wonder if there is more to come, if this book is really helping set us up for whether it's another book or Disney's got this new streaming service that's coming out. And who knows what shows they're going to put in there or how this might tie into something else. So I could definitely see myself looking back on this book and thinking of it much higher than I do right now once we do some more with these characters. So I'm hoping that is coming, but I don't know of anything. And I'm so glad I read this book without a doubt, because as I said, I enjoyed learning about these characters. I like that I know more about them now. It's going to make me enjoy the movies more when I go back and watch those. But as for my actual enjoyment about the book itself, I have to say I was highly disappointed because I just felt like we built everything up and then we didn't go anywhere with it. There was a lot more potential here. It was a fairly short book. I think this is meant to be a young reader book a little bit, It's not as long as some of the others, but I really wish it was longer, and we could have taken this a step farther and done a lot more with it. So right now, if I had to rate it, I would say probably 3 stars, or about a 6 out of 10 rating. It would definitely be towards the bottom of my list as far as the Star Wars books that I read. But again, I don't regret reading it at all. I'm actually glad that I read it, as I mentioned. So it's not something that I would recommend not reading, but I do have to say that I was disappointed in this book more so than others. So I'm on to my next book now. What am I going to start? I think Alphabet Squadron is the name of the new trilogy that was just released a few days ago. So I'm going to dive into that. That one's a lot longer. I looked at the audiobook. I think it was like 14 hours or so. Which, speaking of the audiobooks, again in my link, if you there's a link to a free trial for Audible. You'll get 2 free books. So be sure to check that out. Help support the channel as well. I'll be back with some more reviews. So we'll have to see how this Alphabet Squadron book goes. I'm pretty excited about it. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. Love all your support. Have a great night.